top side. And there are other indications depending on the brand you go with. Some rings will have a little
Getting started takes a few minutes. Just go to getsunday.com/legit to start your bottom ring is in, and this is easy to move around if you have to later. Now it's time for our first compression ring. First is last in this case. There we go. Cool. That's it. All right, this one goes to the top, this one at the bottom. And you can imagine if we line these gaps up, why that could be bad. There'd be all the compression just going right here. And these little oil rings, they're gonna be like, we're not designed for that. Stop. So that's why we want these offset. For sure. Now, before we install the piston onto the connecting rod, which is the part that connects to the crankshaft like this, we need to install the new rod bearings. So this has two halves, one for the rod cap and one for the connecting rod, like that. And then you can connect the rod cap and the rod like so. Snap it in. And you'll notice there are numbers here that need to line up. So you don't want to flip this and have one with a number and one without. Our next measurement is rod bearing clearance, which requires us to apply oil to the rod bolts and then torque them to spec with had it lined up perfectly with 0, we'd be at exactly 2 inches. But we are past the 0, yet past the 1 mark. So that means we are starting off with 2.0, and then each one of these little lines here is 25,000. So since we're not quite at the 1, we know for sure we have 25, 50, 75,000. So far we're at 2.075, but we have to add the number that shows up here. So this is a little bit past 11. So 2.075 plus 11 is 2.086. And then to get down to the real nitty-gritty measurement, we want to see which one of these lines up perfectly. And I think it's going to be the 3. Yeah, the 3 lines up perfectly. So then we can add that all the way to the end of the number. So that means our crank is measuring in at exactly 2.0863 inches. That's the size of the journal. And that is absolutely perfect. This is what it should measure in it, and we're right in between these numbers, so we are good. So my measurement came in pretty much exactly the same as the machine shop, and the rule of 1/1000ths per inch of journal size is just a general rule. Because this is more of a race engine, we went just a little bit looser. You're gonna wanna go around and take these measurements for each and every rod and rod journal in the crank. I did that, we are good to go. So now we can assemble the rod with our assembled piston. So this is your connecting rod. These are much stronger than factory connecting rods. And this is the wrist pin bearing. This is the wrist pin, and it's gonna slide in like that to hold the piston. There's definitely a clearance spec for this, but these are all brand new parts, which should be good. And we're using Manley rods and Manley pistons. Yeah, man. These are super high quality and strong, and I've used them on some other builds as well. But anyway, what you're gonna wanna do is install the rod like so. Spray a little bit of oil in there with our 100-year-old gas can that I found buried in my backyard. A little bit of oil on the wrist pin as well. And then this can go in either end. You slide it through the piston, and then it'll go through the rod like so. So we've made the connection, but we have to install our retaining clips now. These come new with the pistons, and they slide into a groove right here. Just kind of push that in with our hands. Pretty tight squeeze in there, but eventually you'll get this thing in. That is all the way in, and you can see the wrist pin kind of sets up against it, and you just got to install it on the other side too. And here we have it, a fully assembled piston and rod assembly ready to go in almost. Before we can start putting any of that stuff in here, we need to install our main caps and do the exact same thing we did for the rod journals, but for the crank journals. And just like our connecting rods, we need to install all of the main bearings and pay attention to the main caps as they are numbered. The caps slide into the block, and on this particular engine, they use main cap dowels, and they usually require a little bit of persuasion to go in. Once installed, you can go ahead with your main bolts or studs in my case, and this engine uses side main bolts as well, so once they're all in, you can go ahead and torque them to spec and then measure up the associated crank journal. Okay, here is the test part of this video. We're still using the 2 to 3 caliper. What measurement do we have right now? Pause your screen, take a moment, write your answer in the comment section. No cheating, no cheating. Do you know how to read one of these things? All right, here we go. You know, we started with 2, so 2.6. We can see 2 lines, each one's 25 thousandths. So we're at 2.65. We go over here, 6, 7, 2.657. And which one lines up? We have the 5. So the answer is 2.6575, which is literally exactly what it should be. That's perfect. Did you get the measurement right? And who else is buying a micrometer now, or am I the only crazy one here? Now that we know that measurement, it'll help us pick our anvil here for our bore gauge. So 2.6 ain't gonna cut it. It's gonna be too small. 2.8 maybe? These just slide in and then screw on like that. Nope, that is too big, way too big. In any good kit, they give you a bunch of different spacers. So we're gonna take our 2.6, add a spacer, throw it on, tighten it up. I think this is gonna be the one. Is it? Oh yes. Fits in there perfect. And you guys know the drill. Find your perfect 0, lock it in, and you're gonna wanna do this one at a time, as you could imagine. You won't be able to fit your tool in once the other main caps are installed. But we're gonna go in here just like we did, find that middle ground. Yeah, right there, right where it bounces back. So we're moving it back and forth, and yep, we have our 2/1000 of an inch clearance for the mains as well. So I'm gonna do that 4 more times, make sure everything is good. But right now, let me show you guys how to measure the cylinder bore, and guess what tool we're going to use for that. We're going to use the micrometer as well, this time the 3 to 4, and our bore should be 3.570 or somewhere around that. I have this set up to 3.6, and I picked the right anvil on the bore gauge so we can zero this perfectly. Right there. Yep. And bring this to 0 right there. Now we're going to go in the cylinder here, and we'll go down quite a bit. You can take measurements at the top, the middle, the bottom, and you can see here we're right at 20 thousandths. That's perfect. So we have 10, 20, and then 30 thousandths. Remember, we started at 3.60, so minus 30 thousandths, and we're going to be at 3.570, which is exactly what the bore should be. So we'll take 3 measurements per cylinder, and if everything's good, we can assemble. What's nice is we already have the tool set up, so you can kind of just go to town here. Right there, cool. And I'll do another one. Yep. That's great. After checking all of the bores, I agree with the machine shop. They are perfect, and look at the cleanup job that they did. That's pretty good. And if you guys haven't followed along with all the updates on the Lightning, one of the big hang-ups here was that this engine was hijacked basically by a machine shop who lost a bunch of my parts and didn't do any work. So I brought it to another machine shop who had it for 6 months. So needless to say, I just don't trust anyone. That's why I wanted to double check everything. But I do think the second and last machine shop did a good job. So let's reassemble. I pulled out all the main bearings just so we can give it a good final clean. And keep in mind, this was cleaned at the machine shop and covered while I was here at my shop. But we're gonna blow everything out with air. I have one brand new microfiber that I'm gonna use exclusively for this engine. And everything is looking real nice. Now we had these main bearings in for our measurements, so now we have to reinstall them. These are brand new main bearings. They are all the same except for number 1. As you can see, it only has a groove that covers half of the bearing, and so does the block. So this one gets snapped in here, and let's see if I can do this and hold the camera. Bam, right there. You see the little groove there? It just has to match up, and you're in. That bearing is done. We'll just keep on going with main bearing installation like that. Very easy. With all of the bearings installed, we are going to use some engine assembly lube. You're going to see me use this quite a bit, and as you can imagine, at first start up, you don't want anything to be dry. You don't ever want anything to be dry. So we're going to put copious amounts of engine assembly lube in here. Just take your finger, kind of make sure you get it all over the place. So you do want the back side of the bearing to go in dry, but this side to go in with some protection. Some guys will use engine oil for this as well. As you can tell, it's pretty tacky where engine oil can kind of leak out, so definitely use this if it's something you're going to build slowly, because it'll stay there. Now we are almost ready for our crankshaft, but because it's been sitting for a while, we just want to clean it up, and you can use brake clean, carbon choke cleaner. Those both work really nice. So I'm just going to spray it. There's oil holes too in there. Now we're just going to use a little bit of air. Now that we have a perfectly clean crank, we need to install these, which are thrust bearings. It's a 3-piece design, and the thrust bearing ensures that your crank doesn't move forward and back, and you have these grooves that go on the outside. So this bearing is going to sit in right here, like that. And this one like so. Okay, very good. And we'll do this last one after we get the crank in. All right, big moment. Now we can install the crankshaft. Be careful, take your time, and it'll just rest down on top of the bearings like that. With the crank installed, it is time for some studs. No, not me and all you guys watching. I mean main studs, and we're using ARP hardware for everything, so this is going to be much stronger than the factory stuff, and it's reusable. So I did buy this all new, but it looks used, well, because the machine shop needed this to line bore the engine. They want all of the hardware and all of the caps and everything. They need that stuff. What's cool is that some of this is already coated with Moly Lube. We're going to use a little bit more. We'll talk about that in a minute, very important. But for now, we're just going to use a little bit of regular engine oil. Just these threads here that are going to go into the block. This out with air before the crank, later in case there's anything in there. You know, you want to work in a clean area. So now we are going to install studs like so. Now when installing studs, you don't actually have to tighten these. You just want them to bottom out So you're supposed to just install them by hand. I use this tool just to make it easier, but as soon as it's bottomed out, you're done. Also, if everything's clean, the oil isn't 100% necessary. I always think it that way. Now, something I just mocked up is our new engine oil pump that we're going to be using, and I only threw it on there so we can line up our pickup, because there is one stud that's different, and this is going to tell us which one it is. So that goes right there. You can see here that one stud has a little standoff for that oil pump pickup, and it happens to be next in line here. I thought it was this one, so I'll thread this guy in and the rest of it. It's time for the main caps, bearings installed, assembly lube installed, and these are all labeled. You can see right here it says number 5, and this is going to face towards the back because we have our last thrust washer that sits in like that. So we'll go ahead and install this bearing, and then while we hold it, we'll install the main cap like so. Perfect. Couple love taps just to seat this guy. I love you. And then we have these dowels. So this is not really a 4-bolt main. Normally a 4-bolt main would have 4 bolts here and 2 on the sides, but these do get these dowels, so it's kind of a 4-bolt main. These are the side bolts, and let's talk about Moly Lube. So ARP specifies that you must use a little bit of this on the threads, so we'll put it on the threads, but also on both sides of the washer, and that is so we get an even torque. So they specify their torque rating based on using this stuff, so just a little bit, some on the threads as well. All right, cool. And so we're reducing the resistance when torquing so that the value is accurate to how they designed the hardware. All right, ARP side bolt going in, and we'll go ahead and get all these caps and the nuts on, and we're putting Moly Lube on the threads for the studs as well, and both sides of the washer. Again, you gotta reduce friction. Take your time installing all of the main caps and double check your number before installing each one. I like to install all of the main hardware by hand first, and when I do, I try to look as cool as possible. Right now, all of the ARP hardware is installed and just hand tight. We're gonna do these mains first, and eventually we're gonna get to 60 foot-pounds, but I'm gonna do that in 3 stages, 20, 40, 60, and then these are 45. So let's click away. Now, when you're torquing the mains, I like to go inside out. Start in the middle and work our way out. And 20 foot-pounds is not a lot, so push that right away. Just keep on going. And just like that, I'm on my last pass. Hit 60 foot-pounds this time. Now, the side bolts gave final torque of 45. I did this in 2 stages, so I've already done 20. And there's our 45. There we go. Now, if we did everything right and there's no issues, this should spin easily, which it does. If you hear any kind of grinding, if there's any binding, you gotta unfortunately take everything apart and see what's going on. But this is great. These bearings are moving around with only 0.02 of an inch of clearance. It's crazy. It's time to complete our rotating assembly with the pistons and rods. And I have the engine flipped over, and I'm gonna get a little bit of oil in these cylinders. Squirt it in like that, and then just, get in touch with your engine. Literally, just kind of spread this oil all over. We're gonna coat these cylinders real nice. Now, even though we just assembled these, I'm gonna spray them down and clean them one last time. A little shop air. And then honestly, I just like to go through with my eyeballs and just look at everything, make sure, especially the oil ring, the middle expander is not overlapping. It's very thin, and that could get messed up. And then right before they go in, we're gonna double check our gaps, but this is looking good. Let's do it. Hello. With the piston ready to go, we want to protect our cylinder wall from this rod. So I just cut up a piece of 3/4 heater hose to slide over this bottom one just like that. Now your piston's going to have an arrow like that. Just make sure that's pointing to the front of your engine. And you can't just go ahead and slide this guy in because the rings are protruding out. So we need a way to compress these piston rings. So you get yourself a piston ring compressor tool like this. And this is adjustable so you can use it on many different engines. It's just going to simply slide over, make sure it's pretty square. And we're going to go ahead and tighten this up. It's compressing our rings right now. There we go. So now we can install our rod and piston like so. And you just take something soft like your hammer, a few love taps down. There we go. Pistons in our engine. Yes! I always like to do the adjacent cylinder next, so this is actually cylinder 1. We did cylinder 5 on the other side. With both of these front piston and rod assemblies in, I flipped the engine over, and I just want to show you when I'm doing these, I'm going to rotate the crank so the journal is far, far away, because we don't want to accidentally nick it. That's part of the reason we do the rubber on the rod. That also helps from not, nicking up the cylinder as well. So what I want to do now is attach these 2 rods to the crank. I pushing this up with our hammer, this side as well. Now at this point, we will remove our rubber hose. And now I'm going to slide the upper rod bearing in, just like that. A little assembly lube mix. And now we can install our lower rod bearing. These are labeled, so the word lower. And that snaps in, like so. Assembly lube going on. Now we're going to turn this journal into our bearing, like that. With the rod on the crank channel, you want to make sure to line up the numbers, and they are different numbers for each rod, so you know which one is right. And so there's no numbers on this side, the numbers are on the other side. Put this on, like so. Squeeze it together with your fingers as best as you can. It's time for our ARP rod bolts. They specify to use engine oil and not the Moly lube on the threads. So we'll do just that. They don't say why not to use the Moly lube, but if they used motor oil and that's where they got their torque values, I'm going to do the same thing, and that's actually what the machine shop did when they measured some of these as well. So I think we'll be good. Before we torque, I like to get the other rod in the mix, and we'll put this cap on as well. With both of them installed, we're going to go ahead and torque to 60 foot-pounds. Yeah, maybe the old, I don't know why. Why does everybody do that? It's not that much. 60's really not that much at all. Gonna drop your oil can while you're torquing. Yeah, oh my gosh, that almost fell too. Here we go. All right, cool. Perfect. We have 2 cylinders done, and I always like to rotate it. I can do that anyway to get this journal kind of out of the way. We'll do this one next. It's good to rotate by hand every time just to get a good feel for everything. We're looking good. Just like that, our bottom end is fully assembled, and I like to spin the engine around a little bit, obviously by hand. The low RPM, it's not going to do any damage, but that way you make sure that it feels smooth, nothing is catching or hanging up, and everything feels absolutely perfect, so we can move on. Next up, we have the cylinder heads, which need to go on right here. Well, one of them at least, so this engine is going to get significantly taller. And something to point out is that we have this dowel pin straight up, so it is shooting straight up. It's on an angle right now on the engine, but that is the position of the crank that you need to be at in order to do all of your timing. So that's going to set the pistons in a certain spot that's safe, because once we bolt the cams up, some of the valves are going to be open. Right now they're all closed because there's no cam, but you don't want those hitting the pistons. Now that we have the bottom end buttoned up, I just want to check the end play on the crankshaft. So this is a dial indicator. I have it zeroed out right now, and I'm just going to go in and pry the crank back and forth. So we're at 0, you pry it, and then when you let it go, that's its true measurement. Probably a little bit more, so we're at like 1.5 thou. We should be at 2, which I think it's gonna be there. So we should be at 2 thousandths of an inch, but I packed that with assembly lube, so it's taking up some space. So I'd say once we're running regular oil, this is gonna be good. 2 thousandths clearance back and forth. That is absolutely perfect. Since this is a 3-piece bearing and it's not built into the main bearing, you will see a little bit of movement here. That is normal. Just make sure to measure that and play. The surface is clean. We're gonna give it one last shot of the old brake clean too, and just make sure it's free of all oil. Don't want any of that. I did put a little bit of oil again around the rings and the cylinder wall just to protect on that first start. Next, we're gonna install the dowel pins in the block. And down with a hammer like that. We're gonna be using Felpro MLS head gasket, so multi-layer steel. This will hold all the boost. Just gonna lay it in right there. The dowel pins are gonna hold it. It's nice and clean. And this head being right from the machine shop is perfect. This is all smoothed out. I gave it one last clean. We're good. Here we go. She's in. There we go. She's on. Okay, so we are going to be using head studs. A lot of guys will put all the studs in first, and it looks really cool. Don't get me wrong, I've done that too. But it is better to install this with the dowels, the gasket, the head, and then thread the studs in, because if you put the gasket on over the studs, you risk damaging the head gasket. We don't want to do that. These are the ARP head studs that I'll be using. These are reusable and much stronger than the factory head bolts. On one end, you can fit an Allen to tighten these up just by hand. The other has nothing, so you know that's the side that goes down. We're going to install these dry, and obviously the block threads are all clean. You want to make sure of that first. Should be able to thread these in by hand all the way. Should be easy. just like that. So then you can use a tool in here just to make things go a little quicker, just like that, all the way down. Once you've threaded all of your head studs in, we are going to use our digital caliper and just make sure that they're all at roughly the same length. This is thousandths of an inch here, that's totally fine. But you're just making sure that you don't need to screw one down more and that it has truly bottomed out. So these are all going to be good. I like it. Okay. Next, we're going to install the head stud washers that come in the ARP kit, and they have a stamped side that looks like that and a flat side. And we want stamped side down, and this has to be dry and clean. And basically that nut is going to grip into the head and stay still. And we're gonna apply the Moly Lube on the top of the nut and the threads. If the studs are in a hard to reach place, you can just put the Moly Lube on the inside of the nut, and then on the bottom side like that, that'll do the same thing, go much quicker. All right, so we have all of our nuts in. We're just gonna go around with the gun just to drive them down. No actual torque is being applied just yet. So they are all bottomed out. Not only is there a torque spec, but there's also a sequence. So this is the front of the engine. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. Just follow the sequence. First pass, 25 foot-pounds. And so with these studs, there is no stretch to them. With most studs, that's the case. So there's no angle torque. When you're doing factory bolts, there might be an angle. So just go around, start the torquing. There we go. All right, so I did one pass at 50, and now we're on our final, which is 70 foot-pounds. 4, this is number 5. And we got 10 studs. We're almost done. Our driver's side cylinder head is all torqued, and now it is ready for the lifters and the cams. And we are going with a little bit more of an aggressive camshaft here. So here are the specs if you guys are wondering. This thing should definitely chop. Just like that, we have both cylinder heads installed. This engine is getting huge, and now it is time for a coffee cup full of brand new lifters. So I have all new lifters. They're about $175, but well worth it considering the originals are, from 2002. But anyway, they're gonna go in like this, and they should slide in and spin really easily. And if you ever run into a situation where it's not going in easily, you might have to run a little bit of sandpaper in there. It really shouldn't be like that, but sometimes you can get a little burr, something like that. But just make sure that they do spin, because they can spin when the engine's running. You want that. But anyway, these are all going in and spinning nicely so far. Before the rocker arms, I put a little bit of engine assembly lube here on the top of the valves, even though we're using oil everywhere. Again, this will stick very nicely. Throw some on the lifters as well. And then we have another coffee cup filled with rockers, and they just go on like so. So we go down the row, and we'll have rockers before the cam. It's time for the camshaft, and these are side specific. The part number ends in an R for the right side, and guess what the other part number ends with. Take a guess, never get it. It's an L. It's an L, left. Yes, anyway, assembly lube going on. The front of the cam has the threads. We'll eventually thread a cam bolt into for the gear, and I just install like so. Cool. With our cam resting on our cylinder head, we're gonna add a little bit of assembly lube there for the cam bearing cap. And right now I'm just tightening these up by hand like that, and these are all labeled. You can see 5, and the little dot means it faces forward to the front of the engine. With this cam in, I'm gonna go ahead and install the other side, and we'll get to some timing stuff before we torque this down. Both camshafts are installed, but not torqued yet, because I want them in the proper position before we torque them down, because when you torque the cam down, some of the lobes are gonna push on the valves and open the valves, and you wanna make sure that everything is in time, especially if it's an interference engine, and I treat basically every engine as interference, even if it's not. Just do it right. Don't mess around. So when you're timing an engine, not only do you have to get the cams in the right position, but the crank as well. In this case, our keyway points straight up. So our pistons are in a safe position right now to set the timing and the proper position. So what I want to do next is just temporarily install our new crank gear. Now we're going to install our cam sprocket. So there's a spacer that goes right here first. And then it's keywayed like that. We're eventually going to Loctite and torque this bolt, but for now, this is just for some mock-up. Now, if you notice on our new timing chain, we have 1 shiny link here and 2 shiny links at the top. So we're going to slide our chain over, and if you see there's a dot here, and so that means that link lines up with the dot like that. And then we have our 2 shiny links here, our dot right there and right there. And we'll get our chain right over like that. The cam sprockets are labeled, so this one is left, and this is the pickup on the left side of the engine for the cam sensor. Now that we have the cam set up, we start to tighten up our cam. There's a sequence to the torque, but it's basically inside. Around like this, draw it in, slowly. Once you start feeling some pressure, just know that you are opening up the valves then. But since you have the crank in the right position and the cam in the right position, those valves are free to open up. So now I'm going around by hand and just drawing them down. Now these little bolts are only held in at 90 inch-pounds, okay? Not foot-pounds, inch-pounds. You don't have to replace these because they're not stretch bolts, so they don't have a degree or an angle to them. But yeah, not a lot of torque goes into these bad boys. Look at this chop. Can't wait to hear the chop. It's gonna be like the most American pickup ever. Both cams are fully installed and torqued, and let me show you how we're gonna lock these cams in. So we have this tool, and this is actually a universal. It works on a few different cams, but it has an upper and a bearing cap to it, and a lower that has threads. And right here are some flat spots on the cam, and we're just gonna simply slide this in here. It's a little cumbersome to work with. There we go. And now we'll just go ahead and tighten these down with a ratchet. And this cam will be locked in place. Both side cams are locked in, and this is what we're going for. So you can see the marks at the top of the cam gears. The one to the right kind of points up off into the air that way. This one is more straight up, and then like I said, we have our keyway straight up as well. I'm actually gonna take all this stuff off now. We have to install our oil pump and pickup tube, which just came in. Otherwise, I would have done that first. But now we have the cams locked in place, so we're good there. So, get our chains out of here. We're gonna flip this engine over to get to the bottom end. Woo. So normally you would put the pump on and the crank sprocket and just time the thing, but I was waiting on this right here, a larger diameter pickup tube. So this is the factory for a 2-valve, and this is for a 3-valve, and we're using a 3-valve pump. So you could get away with this, but for like $50, you know, why not get a little bit bigger diameter? So we're gonna go with this combo. There's 2 flats on the crank, and that's what drives the oil pump. So you gotta move the rotor around a little, and lots of shimmying. There we go. Okay, so once it seats on, you are good. Now we can get our bolts in. Look at that, we got 4 of them. We're just using the gun to draw them in. It's about 8.5 foot-pounds. That's all the torque these guys need. Okay, there's our oil pump. Before we can install our pickup tube, we actually have to shave down this pedestal. You can see here it's 1.47 inches, and we need to bring this down to 1.40. That's for the instructions for the ARP mains, and you have to do this because it'll set the pickup at a different angle. They tell you knock out 70 thousandths. We're at the grinder, and we're gonna grind it down until we're at our measure. Check off in. I got that pretty close. That is really good. Without a lathe, it's impossible to get this perfect, but this is really, really close. So this is gonna work just great. Let's get this pickup on, and then we can wrap up all the timing, get that all set up. We're moving on, we're getting there. Now we can install the pedestal onto the stud on our ARP main. Go all the way down. I tighten this up by hand, and now with a little Loctite, we're gonna install our new hardware to hold it in. Before we fully tighten that up, we're gonna line up our oil pump pickup tube with a new O-ring that is lubricated right into the oil pump, and we'll get our bolts started there as well. So 8.5 foot-pounds on these as well. I have this all snugged up, so we are good. We have our GT500 oil pickup tube. This is a GT500 pump as well, but it's modified for even more flow and everything, so we have oiling down. Let's get our crank gear back on. All right, we got our shiny link going on the sprocket where it has a little dot there. Do the inside first. Timing chain number 2. It's time for the guide, so I'm just doing a little assembly lube here where the chain rides. And this one sneaks in here, and it actually utilizes an oil pump bolt. And I've messed up. This one requires a long bolt, and I put a short one over here. So anyway, got it out. And this holds the oil pump and this guide. I'm gonna go ahead and torque this. Re-torque our oil pump. Good. Guide number 2 going in. Slide in like that. Probably not needed, but I do Loctite bolts that I think are important. I think this one's important. So I'm gonna get a short one down there and a longer one up here. Nice. This is our first tensioner guide. So we have to hold the chain like this, and this doesn't have any bolts. It just has a pin right here. Now we need to install our oil-fed timing chain tensioner on the right side. And you can see it's got a big R. It's not for the Ryans out there, it's for right. So I'm gonna thread this bottom one in, and we can kind of swing this into place, and now it's easier to install the top bolt. These tensioner bolts are 20 foot-pounds, so a little bit more than those little guys. All right, our last guide going on. Something to mention, there's no gasket here. So this is just metal to metal. Slide it in there. All right, a little torque. All right, sweet. It's looking good. So these have little grenade pins that you pull out. Okay, and so there's a spring inside of here, but these do need oil pressure as well. So don't be alarmed if there's a little bit of slack. That is normal because this thing hasn't pumped up yet. Before we can put the front timing cover on, we need this reluctor wheel. This is for the crank sensor pickup. It says front right here. It's key weighed. Can't mess this up outside of forgetting to install it. There you have it. I did put Loctite on the cam bolt threads, so we're gonna torque these. All right, it's 90 foot-pounds, quite a bit. And that's why we have the cam locking tool in there right now. All right, here we go. Timing's done. And just one more look for you guys that are timing your own Triton V8. You have this one straight up. Same thing with this guy. This one's off at about the 1 o'clock position. Our cam locker tool is removed, and I always spin the engine by hand. Just make sure, you know, no valves are hitting pistons. You didn't mess anything up. I always love to double, triple check timing and operation of the engine as we keep going with these steps. You never know. This is feeling perfect. We're good. This is awesome. I can hear these cams just chopping away right now. I don't know. Kind of sounds like a Ford. Hang on, you know what? There's something I wanted to show you guys, and that is this tool to set the crank. So if you guys watched my way earlier video when I took apart the original Lightning engine, the timing marks actually looked like this, and that's because I set the keyway to 11 o'clock instead of 12 o'clock like I showed you guys now. This tool is just so cheap, it's painted, you can't really hit it on that far, but if you do get a good one of these, it's supposed to line up with that dowel. If you look online, there's instructions on doing this both ways. So here's the 11 o'clock and here's the 12 o'clock like we did. Ultimately, as long as those shiny chain links are all lined up, you're gonna be good. So you can pick whether you wanna do the 11 o'clock or the 12 o'clock method, and then just make sure it's in standard time, not Eastern or Pacific. I'm just kidding, that doesn't matter. It's time to get some covers on this engine, and this is what the front timing cover looked like. Pretty nasty from many years of oil leaking, and this is what it looks like after blasting this with the pressure washer and some degreaser. But you know, we gotta paint this. I mean, we're gonna see a grand total of maybe 10% of it once the engine is assembled, but it's gonna be a nice looking 10%. So right now I'm just shooting it with a little bit of high temp primer. We're gonna go satin black, so we'll do our first light mist coat. And yes, I did leave some of the bolts in there, so these will be painted, and then once everything is torqued, they'll be touched up. It'll look great, trust me. So the lower intake manifold on the Lightning was already painted black, but it just needs a little touch up. I've already degreased everything, and we'll do this in satin black as well. Oh yeah, it's gonna look sweet. So we will see a little bit of this stuff, just a little. It's the coils, injectors, and all that are there. Covers up a lot. After 2 coats on the lower intake, it's looking pretty nice. So we can start going with the heavier coats now on this front timing cover. Oh yeah, it's gonna look great. So here's our oil cooler assembly. It's pretty massive, and this holds on a few different pulleys and tensioners. These would normally be like a cast aluminum color, so I cleaned them up, and we're just gonna spray on that so they look new again. Oh, look at that, it's so cool. The fuel rails in the Lightning look nasty. They're basically chrome, but they have a nice coating of rust, and we can't have that with everything painted, so I'm gonna see if I can restore these with a little bit of Scotch-Brite. So a lot of times this is just right on top. Yeah, that's looking much better. Let's see this part of the rail. Oh yeah, this is gonna look great. Mint. So a lot of that rust was just hanging out kind of on top, but the chrome is not actually pitted. That's great. So the next day, everything is dry that I painted, looking pretty. These parts as well. New Motorcraft coils. We got a lot of good stuff that need to go on here. So let's make this thing look cool. Before the front timing cover goes on, we have our front crank seal. Seal drivers are key to doing this right. I went with a little bit of a bigger driver now. All right, looking good. We're gonna put a little bit of RTV, basically right where the head and the block meet at the head gasket. Just right in there, clean it up a little. This side too, and you got 2 sides on each head gasket to do. So a total of 4. We also have a new gasket here, and this guy's ready to go. Ford's nice, they give you some dowel pins, so you can line this up really easily. Plops on just like that. Sweet. And then we'll start installing a lot of bolts. Pretty big bolts for a front cover, I must say. Ford tough though, right? Right? Now we'll tighten all these up. Many of these are different sizes. Luckily, I looked back at my old video. Like, okay, I should go back to that video. These are bigger. They're seriously crazy. Like, look at this. These are 13s. These are 18s. I think these are like 21s. Ford, come on now. So we have our rear main seal in, but this is supposed to be slightly recessed, and I don't have a cup big enough. Like these are just, they're too small, so I don't know what I'm gonna do here. Does this work? Sunroof grease? No way. Wait a minute, guys, wait a minute. This is like the perfect size. I just need to hit it evenly, just a little. It did it. No way. Hold on, let me do a little bit more. Oh my gosh, that was great. Look at that, that's all we need. So it's beveled, we need the seal to line up with the bottom of the bevel. So it's just slightly recessed. No way! Mercedes-Benz sunroof grease bottle. I am never getting rid of this, guys. I will be buried with this bottle. This is great. It's a Ford rear main seal installation tool. Now we can install the rear cover. This is sealed with RTV, which kind of stinks. Just give me a gasket, you know? So what a mess. Anyway, I flipped the engine upside down so we can get this better. There is an installation tool for the rear main seal. Just kind of slides over the crank. But you can do this with your hand. Kind of slide it around there. A little shimmy. And then this also has dowel pins. So there we go. Rear cover's on. Let's get some bolts. New gasket going on the oil pan. This clip on. Oh, sweet. It clips on. I'm going to do a little bit of RTV here in the corners. Oh my gosh. All right. Love and hate with these guys. You can't be too trigger happy with these. Okay, there we go. We're good. Perfect. Check out how nice this oil pan is. Oh, brand new. Right off the assembly line. Yeah, Alex. Oil pan is all done. It's time for the water pump. This has an O-ring. And we just pop it in like so. Stay. I said stay. Sometimes you get to hold stuff with your leg. I've installed new O-rings on this tube right here. I also installed a new knock sensor because they're a pain in the butt to get to. And this coolant tube goes in like so. And it bolts to the back of the head like that. Found some really nice gold bolts. We're gonna go with the gold here. There we go. Before we put the lower supercharger plenum on, we have to plug in this coolant temperature sensor, and I just want you to take a good look at this right here. I totally lost this little sub harness, and I had to get this connector from the parts store. It was $60, but if you look up this sub harness online, Ford wants $1,500 for a 2-wire, 2-connector harness that's a foot long. And then everywhere else is like $900, $800. It's insane. It makes absolutely no sense, but here it is. Don't lose that part of your car. I did. But anyway, go somewhere over there. Check out this beauty right here. It's from a company called Tough Stuff. It's a 150 amp alternator. So there's a couple of bolts here that we use to rest it on. Stay. We got some brand new lower intake manifold gaskets. So now this can go on. This engine's getting taller. Oh, this is so crazy. So this bracket holds on the alternator from the top too. You don't have to take this off to do the alternator. You just do the bracket, but you know, many different ways to skin a cat or build a Ford engine. Woo! That's looking good. We got a new thermostat going in. This is the seal for it. And these 2 long thermostat housing bolts hold the intake down as well. Water to air intercooler is going on. This is a Garrett part. See here. So a lot of guys do replace these because they leak eventually. This one came with our aftermarket supercharger and it looks really nice and newer, so it was probably already done. This guy takes some massive Allen bolts. Not a nice sound. Like nails on a chalkboard. Actually, hang on. It's been so long since I had this apart. I have like 2 of everything from the used engine that I got before. Yeah, maybe that is a completely aftermarket intercooler because that's a nice chunk of billet, you know, by Garrett. This one has Ford stamped into it. So cool. We got an upgraded intercooler. I'm pretty sure it looks expensive. 2.3 liter supercharger going on. Oh my gosh. That looks good. I love it. Wow, that is awesome, guys. Seriously, this is a unit. Woo! Welcome to your new engine. This is an older blower, but it's gonna have a new life now. Next, we have the oil filter housing, and this gets a nice gasket here for coolant. I'm just gonna slide over this stud here, and we'll throw this nut on there, and lots of bolts. I like that one. And before we put all the bolts in, we have to install the engine mount on this side. It shares a couple of the provisions for the oil cooler housing. There we go. It's header time, and we're using some nice metal gaskets. I don't really like the graphite ones that they give you with headers sometimes. All right, so we'll seat these all the way first, like so. You got 2 per side. And we're gonna be using the same headers that we had on the truck running before. There's nothing wrong with these, and they're gonna work just fine. There we go. Real easy when you have the engine out. And then we have brand new nuts. These are locking nuts as well. Now let's tighten all these guys up. Can't tell you how nice this is to do with the engine out. Still actually kind of hard to get to some of these. Not that one, but like this. We're gonna have to do that by hand, this by hand. Ratcheting wrench really helps out for this. Work. Come on now. No other way but a wrench. Take forever. Look at that one. Can't fit anything on it. Both the headers are on. It is looking good, and we're about to make it look even better and let the world know that we are powered by SVT with these beautiful custom valve covers that a subscriber made for me a couple of years ago. I'll put a link down below. It's been a couple of years. I don't know if he's still doing this, but if he is, there'll be a link there. They're a little dusty, but man, are these things sweet. Valve cover number 2 going on. Okay. When you're holding the camera, it's kind of hard to aim engine parts onto an engine, but it's on. Oh yeah, tighten all these up by hand. Very little torque. These are tiny little bolts. So satisfying. I cleaned a little spot of the valve cover. It looks so good. I gotta do the rest. Oh yeah, yes. It's perfect. I cleaned up this side as well. Looking good. Next up, harmonic balancer time. So the factory balancer does have rubber in the middle. That can fail. Mine looks fine, but while we're in there, we're gonna get a nice new one that's, you know, just looks prettier. It's nice and black. But as you guys probably know, on supercharged engines, they keyway the crank. You can see the key right there. That way, this does not spin on the crank while it's spinning the blower. This is also press fit on, so we can't just slam it on here and put a bolt in there. There's a few steps to make this a lot easier. Now, my first step is a little bit of heat on the inside, not much. And you'll notice I'm not heating this side. That's what's gonna ride up against our seal, which we don't wanna damage. So we don't want this glowing red, just a little heat on the inside. This is thick enough to kind of keep it isolated in there and just expand it a little. All right, that's pretty good. So now we're gonna line it up with the key. Okay, that's it. It lines up, it goes on a little bit. I'm gonna give it a few little love taps. All right, now this is our installer tool. It's got a gigantic washer that spins independently. This will thread right into the crank. First we have to push it out so it's long enough. Turn it into the crank like so. And I like to kind of use all the threads on there. So we'll keep going, there we go. Once it bottoms out, you don't have to tighten this really. This, we're gonna use to pull it in, and it is a massive 32. And we're just gonna turn it like this. And it's sucking it in right now. And you want it to go on nice and smooth. If it stops, don't crank on it. This should be pretty easy, especially if you gave it a little bit of heat. Almost there. And this is just gonna simply bottom out, and then we're done. Yeah, right there. Okay. Yeah, it'll start to spin the engine, but we're bottomed out, so crank this loose now. Take out our install tool. Now we can go together with the actual bolts. We're ready for our ARP harmonic balancer bolt, and you'll notice I put a little bit of moly lube, just like the head bolts on here. That's what they call for. And you're also supposed to put a little bit of RTV here in the keyway. So we'll just kind of inject a little in there like that. And I just like to do the face of this washer. Okay, that's way too much. Spread it around there and make kind of a flat surface of RTV here. All right, so we have some RTV on the washer. This is not gonna mix with the thread moly lube because that's going in the crank. And then we're just going to tighten this guy in there by hand. 100 foot-pounds with my fingers. Just kidding. So we have to torque this to 100 foot-pounds. The crank's just gonna spin. So I installed a couple of bolts and a pry bar. And we're just gonna do one of these guys. There we go. 100 foot-pounds. All right, balancer is on. Let's get a gigantic, cool-looking pulley on. I cleaned it up. It's aluminum. It's awesome. And hang on, I got to give credit where credit is due. I've been using this digital torque wrench from Harbor Freight. It's their Icon brand, and it is fantastic. And look at the range. 12.5 foot-pounds all the way to 250 foot-pounds. So I use a lot of different brand tools, but lately I've been running down the street and grabbing some Icon stuff, and it's really good. So here's our aluminum pulley that's actually gonna spin the belt that spins the supercharger. And so it's kind of easy to swap out if you wanna go to a bigger one. I have this one as well, so you can just swap out the rings and leave those 3 bolts, but honestly, I don't really understand the point of this because it doesn't make it all that much easier. You still have to take out even 6 bolts to swap this out. There's more moving parts, but the main reason I'm not using this is because it is smaller. And for a supercharger pulley, you want it to be smaller to spin faster if you want boost, but it's the opposite for the crank pulley. You need that to be larger if you want to spin the blower faster and get more boost. I have no idea how much boost it's gonna make, but we're gonna find out in the dyno in the next video. A little bit of Loctite on these guys. Don't run away from me. Bam. This is nice and torqued And now it's time for yet another pulley. Oh wait, okay, yeah, we're good. Gotta kind of go on an angle on this. Probably should have done this before, but there's no way you got You got to take the big crank pulley off to get the water pump pulley off. Yep. Do that one first. Do it first. But if you mess up, it's okay. Just have some bolts for this, and we're gonna keep going. I think the only accessories that we're not gonna be able to install on the stand here would be the power steering pump and the AC compressor, as I left them connected in the truck to not lose the refrigerant and power steering oil. But that's okay. We'll get everything we can do here. We have a brand new belt tensioner going on. Beautiful. We have a couple of idler pulleys going on, also brand spanking new. And they ride on a little shoulder. This should never be loose. It should fit nice and snug on there. And you shouldn't hear much. Time for one of my favorite parts here, this big aluminum piece. Just kidding, it's aluminum. This thing is sweet. Looks even better since we painted it. There we go. Bam, so pretty. And yet another tensioner. There's lots of tensioners, I gotta say. Made in Canada. Any Canadians out there watching? Love you, engine. More brand new pulleys and our shiny factory bolts that we cleaned up. These are factory gold. I love gold. The fuel rail as cleaned up as possible. It's hard to get in some of the nooks and crannies, but most of that you won't be able to see. We have our 80-pound fuel injectors, little MB sunroof grease, and we'll pop them in like that. Fuel rail going on. This is coming together. Go around here and like that. So the Lightning has factory dual fuel pumps and a feed and a return. It's got a nice fuel system from the factory. Injectors are done. Next up, spark plugs. We are using the NGK TR6s, probably the most common plug on boosted high-performance applications. I gapped these down to 28,000, so we'll get those into our 8-thread heads. That's right. This is a 2002 Lightning that had the 4-bolt threads, which is a big problem, but mine under warranty were replaced in like 2003 with the good ones. Coils are going in, and we are using Ford Motorcraft factory coils. I'm gonna push them on in there like that. Perfect. Coils and plugs are in. This thing is looking awesome, and I've made a little bit of room so we can move the Lightning over to that bay. You know what? Let's actually put some oil in this engine and an oil filter. We'll pre-fill this guy. We're going factory Motorcraft. All right, there we go. And there's no reason we can't just fill this up with our break-in oil. I'm just using conventional 1030, some cheap stuff, and we'll run this, you know, for a few minutes and then change it all out. Drink up, dude. Oh man, I had to get that one. Just spilled on the side of my nice valve cover. I'm just too excited to get it in. Let's feel some compressions. Oh yeah, that's nice. Whew, kicking back on me. Haha, it's coming out of the exhaust. Oh yeah, that's nice. Whew, all right, let's move the Lightning over there. This thing is almost ready. All right, here we go. Put the Lightning on some dollies. How we doing? She's rolling. Yeah, I don't care too much about the CL. All right, we got the Lightning lined up here towards the back of the shop, and it's just a little dusty in here, so we're gonna give it a quick spray, and it's a great time to get the firewall. I kind of cleaned this the last time, but I'm going around with one of my brushes here, just kind of getting a little bit of everything. Oh, it's gonna be so nice to work in a clean environment. I mean, this thing was already pretty clean because we did like a frame-off restoration on it, but you know, it's better now. All right, pressure wash away. I've covered up some of the electrical plugs. Got a cap on the brake fluid reservoir, even though it's been open for like 2 years. We'll have to do a massive bleed. Woo, look at that beautiful frame, guys. There's some bolts that we'll have to pick up. This thing is clean. Clean out our AC condenser a little bit too while we're here. Why not? All right, I think I'm about done here. And if you guys are worried about pressure washing your engine, I have another blue pickup truck series you can check out about how sometimes water doesn't destroy everything. If you haven't seen that series, I'll give you a little hint and tell you that this flood line that was drawn by the insurance company should have actually been all the way up here. And this is my new daily, and it still works. So you can clean an engine or throw a truck inside of a lake and have it survive. But seriously, the key to not ruining electronics when you're pressure washing engines is to dry everything right away when you're done. All right, I guess I forgot the little cover on the relays. Cover the relay, it'll be fine, but we're drying it. It's going back to the lift so we can get this cab off. Going back home, buddy, just for a little while, I promise. Oh man, it's gotta be the limits of this engine stand. This thing's gotta weigh like, I don't know, 600-700 pounds. That's why I'm holding it from here. I think it could tip over. LS's are lighter, more aluminum. Newly built engine, meet my 2002 Ford Lightning. All right, guys, that'll do it for this video. That is how you build an engine DIY style. And in the next one, we are going to install this into the Lightning. The cab is miraculously flying up into the air. We're gonna get it running hopefully on the dyno and complete the whole Lightning project. Fingers crossed. And I'm gonna start the intro to that video just like this with the thing going up. So I gotta make this quick. Like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one. Tune in. This thing will literally be right here. I'm just gonna stay right here. See ya. And I have its original engine back
This guy proved everyone wrong, who said you can't fit a 2JZ engine into a Mark V Supra and manual swap it at the same time. From factory, the Mark V Supra is powered by the B58 engine, created by BMW for the M340i. The B58 is often called the modern 2JZ because of its insane tuning capabilities, but it's just not quite as good, which is why Mark from Pterodactyl Tactics decided to make his own manual swap 2JZ A90 Supra. Many people thought it was impossible because the 2JZ, being an older cast iron block engine, is significantly heavier than the aluminum B58, which could throw off the balance and handling. Mark faced challenges with custom engine mounts, rewiring, adapting a 6-speed transmission from an E46 M3, and tuning the standalone ECU to make it all work seamlessly. After over 2 years of work and an estimated $50,000, the 2JZ A90 Supra was finally finished, producing 1,200 wheel horsepower. This guy proved everyone.
Bet your silence is my trade. Shut up. Lockjaw. Giving MCs lockjaw. Lockjaw. Bet your silence is my trade. Shut up. Come on, baby, let's go.
Nigga, this go throw a party.
Hey, I left my purse. Do you think you can turn around?
Yeah, I got you.
Are you sure?
I got you.
Nigga, this go throw a party.
Hey, I left my
I get more change in the highs, I know I can never.
Yeah, tips on how to catch a hat. First you grab your gloves and mask and make sure you wearing black on black. If you smart nigga, you a Leo phone, so that bitch won't get trapped. If you smart nigga, you'll go on your own, cause most these niggas
Yo,
race.
nah, cause like, bro, really a criminal.
Yeah, tips on how to catch a hat. First you grab your gloves and mask and make sure you wearing black on black.
What better to do with your rusted, rotted out 240SX and stick a big American engine in it? Only this time, instead of an LS, it's an 8.3 liter Viper engine.
This shit gonna be crazy, Jack.
Get his ass phone. I got tired of swinging my Glock. Now 7.62 in this chopper. If you ain't fucking or sucking no dick, you can't get a spot. I'm robbing, I'm up in his rock. You ain't got no money, your man bitch garbage. Pull up shooting, I'm hitting my target. Fuck sex, feel come shop my closet. Got a new bitch, she brown and chocolate. Yeah, my ex bitch in got a new bitch, she brown and chocolate. Yeah, my ex bitch and her feelings. Super mad, I did her wrong. Yeah, we scrap with a lot of guns. Got some that's black and some that's chrome. Told my shorties if you tryna slide, you ain't got no gun, then call my phone. Tell me how you talking shit and you got your big homie fit on. Yeah, bitch, we slide out steams with burners. Come and slide with me, I'll show you some tips on how to catch a murder. Let me do your play, better not be sweet, or I'm tryna jerk you. Heard your baby daddy is ass corn, call him Steve Urkel. Let me do your play, better not be sweet, or I'm tryna jerk you. Come and slide with me, I'll show you some tips on how to catch a murder. Heard your baby daddy is ass corn, call him Steve Urkel. Come and slide with me, I'll show you some tips on how to catch a murder. Yeah, tips on how to catch a hat. First you grab your gloves and mask and make sure you wearing black on black. If you smart nigga, you a Leo phone, so that bitch won't get trapped. If you smart nigga, you'll go on your own, cause most these niggas rats. Yeah, bitch, I hope you taking notes. Pull up pocket whenever you see your target. Don't be scared to blow. Walk him down, ain't shooting up out no car. Jump out, take it so he got hit and fail. Stand over his ass and give his ass 10 more. They like Tisky, why you so damn hostile? I'm steady hearing these voices in my head like slick, they cannot stop me. You'll get shot of your shit for thinking you tank, little nigga, I ain't tryna. You'll get shot of your shit for thinking you tank, little nigga, I ain't tryna box you. Yeah, bitch, we slide out steams with burners. Come and slide with me, I'll show you some tips on how to catch a murder. Let me do your play, better not be sweet, or I'm tryna jerk you. Heard your baby daddy is ass corn, call him Steve Urkel. Let me do your play, better not be sweet, or I'm tryna jerk you. Come and slide with me, I'll show you some tips on how to catch a murder. Heard your baby daddy is ass corn, call him Steve Urkel. Come and slide with me, I'll show you some tips on how to catch a murder. New bitch, she brown and chocolate. Yeah, my ex bitch and her feelings. Super mad, I did her wrong. Yeah, we scrap with a lot of guns. Got some that's black and some that's chrome. Told my shorties if you tryna slide, you ain't got no gun, then call my phone. Tell me how you talking shit and you got
It is time we talk about
nigga, they looking the same. They copy my lip or they biting my chain. Championship ranges gon' empty shit. Big breaking nature to look at the kid. Dirty the fountain, but making the Canada, bro. Get this money like it's my religion. This could be a man, they are saying if any of these niggas, they try to compare whatever I did. Them niggas touched 100 just off the gig. They came out the jungle, they kidnapped a kid. I trap out a bando, spent 10 on the crib. I look at the ocean, the spot 30 in. Depending where I'm at, the city I'm in. I keep me no funny, no matter what I'm in. I have such an ass, you don't think you can rent. You fucking me good, bitch, you helping me win. Niggas can't see me with no gold tish. 2 million bracelets, no on the wrist. I'm never sober, I'm thinking my queen. I about to eat, I can feel when it get. Chief had a flight, nigga. On way out of here, I'm too Hermes, ash for the dark ashes. Bitch so pretty, little better than Cassie. Puffin' on Zooters and she calling me daddy. Walking on shit, turn it up and I gas. Came out the gutter, they ain't never me the swagger. Security bag out a bitch, I'm a bagger. Turning it up, gotta make sure she good. Park 2 mil in the middle of my hood. Drinking the mud I made out of the sword. Chrome heart accessories, whatever, I'm good. Out of these niggas, they looking the same. They copy my lip or they biting my chain. Championship ranges gon' empty shit. Big breaking nature to look at the kid. Got some millions of things in my drive. Just stuck in my memory, they wish showing love. Ain't matching my fly, bitch, you know you a dog. You started this way, but now you with no brush. Stop taking them out in the back on the E. Flying commercial, you ain't ask me. Driving the spaceship, the one with the wings. Crook up the trap, I done broke down the key. Ain't let no fuck nigga holding me back. Put a switch on and then little nigga wet. After I hit you, bitch, give him the back. Ain't got no room, put a hand on the strap. Once in the morning, don't show you no slack. Put a tycoon, ain't no regular case. Took a few shrooms, I forget where I'm at. Popping a touch, like a feel in the kick. Chief had a flight, nigga can't even see me. On way out of here, I'm too fly in the sky. Hermes, ash for the dark, my ashes. Bitch so pretty, little better than Cassie. Puffin' on Zooters and she calling me daddy. Walking on shit, turn it up and I gas. Came out the gutter, they ain't never me the swagger. Security bag out a bitch, I'm a bagger. Turning it up, gotta make sure she good. Park 2 mil in the middle of my hood. Drinking the mud I made out of the sword. Chrome heart accessories, whatever, I'm good. Out of these niggas, they looking the same. They copy my lip or they biting my chain. Championship ranges gon' empty shit. Big breaking nature to look at the kids.
I'm coming from a different club from me, niggas, you hear me? Hey, pussy niggas got out the street, we got out the mud. Chopped off, chop, whole lot of chop. Hold on, I got the hair on for my bro and take a pic. Big nuts, get the money in a steak. Fuck that bitch, come on the hills, I want the one that's ready to slide. I don't give a fuck about where you catch me at, you know I got mine. They catch me with this blick on me, I'm gon' get plenty fucking time. What it is, they been saying, they gon' lock me on that line. Fire up in jail, $1,000, give me a Smith & Wesson 9. You fuck with me, I'm not fuck with you, you waste my time, you gone, man. You told me lies, I kept it real, and bitch, I always had your back. Them niggas shot up my whole club, I got them about my age. I know you heard about that story, that pussy pumping games. He got filled up, bow, bow, bitch. You know you hit that up, Smith, you shoulda had some luck. Best on all in Walmart. I got this real something, plus my wife on fire, so let's do it, nigga. I'm with that, oh pussy nigga, let's get straight to it, bitch. I bust them bust back. Wow, I got the racks on me, got that strap on me, got the baby on me, but you know that I'm a got them chains dancing on me. I got my mama tuning heat, I got my sister with that blick, my whole fam, I'm in the tree. 7 million with no fee, my fucking house, it wasn't cheap. I want him shot out in his mouth the way they did, bro, in the street. Shit, the way I walk, I pop these ends that come like me. I spray the whole fucking custom nails, they pull up lit. I'ma shoot a bit on top of rags, so they let me free, yeah. Pussy nigga, that's your ass, you tryna gang on me. My phone shot, that's your phone, man. I'm from the bottom, when we throw your body, let me see. Who gon' keep it trail on me? Who gon' really have my back? You know why you act like that, cause I never trust your ass on me. Got that strap on me, got that baby on me, but you know that I'm a got that chain dancing on me. I got my mama told me, I got my sister with that blick, my whole fam, I'm in the tree.
All these waves in the deep end, 100-foot yards, but we creeping. They needed someone to believe in. I gave them something to believe in, yeah. Sex is you want it, diamonds you want it, bullshit more, yeah. Water from views and living room pools, listening to the
Shit, you know that I'm a grab. Your nigga name a call, girl, you know you probably had it.
And she not problematic, but she could cause a melee. You know the ass is butter soft, it's like a Pele. Them 100-footers while we rockin' twin yacht masters. We cop the ass and you ask the dealer what he got faster. Got Beyonce concert, we took the helicopter too. You said you want the range, a nigga end up copping two. Cereal for that box, you know I cop all your watches new.
All these waves and they deep in 100-foot yards, but we creeping. They needed someone to believe in. I gave them something to believe in, yeah. Taxes, you want it, diamonds, you want it, bullshit in the morning, yeah. Waterfront views and living room pools, listening to this Maybach music.
Double F, the Empire. It's the biggest ever. Rose gold, VS Stones is the ball drop. Bad credit, but all cash at the car lot. Face clean without a blemish, money non-stop. Bought a bing, a lot of rings, my crib a Coliseum. Kilos on the boat, don't even gotta see them. Christina rolling with me, so you know the meaning. See me when you see me, hunting for the feature. Riches to the max, bitches to the back. I'm really in the bank, I'm really on the maps. It's Ricky Rose, jets in the air. Pistol on my lap, that's if you niggas ask. Tell me who the richest, cause I'm on their ass. Coops out in Paris, Bella in the glass.
All these waves and they deep in 100-foot yards, but we creeping. They needed someone to believe in. I gave them something to believe in, yeah. Taxes, you want it, diamonds, you want it, bullshit in the morning, yeah. Waterfront views and living room pools, listening to this Maybach natural hustler. Think I need a smuggler up in Russia. You could be my butler, shine my cutler. Shout out to Oyenda, that's the guzzler. Okay, next thing, my life is a wet dream. I call it a sex scene. The bag is a nice tease. I tried to escape. My life is an X-ray. I'm sorry, a sex tape. You only get one tape. Quiet on the set, please. Rolling anxiety in 3, 2. Anxiety, keep on trying me. I feel it quietly, trying to silence me. Anxiety, shake it off of me. Somebody's watching me. It's my anxiety. Anxiety, I'm trying.
the phones I broke. Anybody come and save me? Don't know, I'm hoping so. Or is it meant for me to save myself? I don't know, maybe so. Hello, hello, I come from a place not many people been. Dirty ball, not many make it out, but I can say I did. Mud on my clothes, I try to wipe it off, but it keep rubbing in. But fuck it, I let them see the mud, it is what it is. Hello, hello, I know my niggas ride, I ain't gotta ask. Hello, hello, I hop and I feel never, I don't need no prat. Hello, hello, I'm super duper trench like Candyman Jack. Hello, hello, this glizzy not no test, don't ask me to pass. Hello, hello, where the fuck Lil Wiki been, where the fuck Lil Wiki been? Hello, hello, he on bullshit again, he on bullshit again. Hello, hello, different breed, the niggas a hard time to get in. Hello, hello, talk shit and get high, nigga, bad thing about your friend. Hello, hello, heard a bitch nigga said this, heard a bitch nigga said that. Hello, hello, this stick I got go click, this stick I got go clap. Hello, hello, this stick I got go boom, that bitch nigga on his back. Hello, hello, this stick I got go rat-a-tat-tat-tat. I would've fucked just to get me another rapper, nigga. Pay attention to these bitches, ain't my chop chopper, nigga. Like this, the bitch like Michael, I fuck her, I feel it. She said she want a gangster, not no Pee-wee, nigga. These diamonds on my neck, that shit that get her wet. Put my Glock in her purse, that shit that get her wet. 8,000 in Sephora, that shit that get her wet. Tell her I kill for that shit that get her wet. All that looking in that muggy, that shit get a nigga wet. All that dissing on the business, that shit get a nigga wet. All that clutching for no reason, that shit get a nigga wet. All that putting trust in hoes, that shit get a nigga wet. Where the fuck Lil Wiki been? Hello, hello, he on bullshit again, he on bullshit again. Hello, hello, I'm a different breed, the niggas it's a hard time blending in. Hello, hello, talk shit and then go high, nigga, bad thing about your friends. Why self-life? We got London on the track. Nigga, horses don't stop, they keep going. Hey, you can lose your life, but it gon' keep going. Why not risk life when it's gon' keep going? Yeah, when you die, somebody else was born, but at least we got to say we ran on the digit, we ran up the money, we ran on the digit, we ran on that money, we ran on the digit, we ran on the money. We ran on the digit, we ran up the money, we ran on the digit, we ran on some money. But then just say you know me once, so I left them with you. You know it, that's why when you bring it, can't flip it. I'm living big, that's why I got on who can't care. Money, sound out, mama, I'm snow hustling. Dope boy, hell great like grandma. You know my face blinking like OJ, like damn no. Roll it, hold it, I couldn't control, shout it like channel. My racks are swinging on that party, and I hop in that Rari, I crack on like water. Horses don't stop, they keep going. Why not risk life when it's gon' keep going? When you die, somebody else was born, but at least we got to say we ran on the digit, we ran on the money, we ran on the digit, we ran on that money, we ran on the digit, we ran on the money. We ran on the digit, we ran on the money, we ran on the digit, we ran on some money, we ran on some digit, we ran on some money. I'ma put me some dough like confused you. I'ma go in that bitch with a ruler. I'ma bust me a nigga like Shrews. I'ma keep a rap like I'm a booler. I know some roller spaces I could do it. Yeah, I'm screaming on my God like cool. When I know it, I feel like I'm overboarded. If I ever a dirty baby, you better drop a sport. I been getting money for the million for Pandora. I did do this shit when I get bored. Nigga, horses don't stop, they keep going. You can lose your life, but it gon' keep going. Why not risk life when it's gon' keep going? When you die, somebody else was born, but at least we got to say we ran on the digit, we ran up the money, we ran on the digit, we
as if I had to be finished. Came back with a vengeance, cocaine Bentley, Emerald Cup Platinum, my dentures. Your diamonds twinkle, if it don't glisten, you did not get it from England. Top drop, red interior, yellow caliber, turbo, S edition. Arch the back, walk that ass, once it over. Flat footed, lean forward, poke it out and throw it. Left cheek, right cheek, slowly bending over. Had a stress for data, they don't wanna focus on it. Pay you some of the motivation, captivate my focus. Arch your back, look back at me, get up in there with it. Left cheek, right cheek, slowly bending over. Had a stress for data, they don't wanna focus on it. She eat that dick off the bone and she real official. Sacrifice I made for niggas will probably never get mentioned. Looks get strained and then complain like we in competition. Women be more grateful, I seen gangsters turn to bitches. I thought it's men, we hold our own dick when we was pissing. I play the game like Killer Stone, swear to God I miss him. Bitch, I feel like Alvin Nelson when I'm in the trenches. Rockin' fittest, hop out solo with my jewelry glistening. Shout out Ox, uptown busy, booby, black and menace. Quiet as kept, they say I'm Emilio, control the district. Who want them chickens, grab a flock, you get a lower ticket. Hit my trap girl, 4 words, come and get it. Arch your back, walk that ass, once it over. Flat footed, lean forward, poke it out and throw it. Left cheek, right cheek, slowly bending over. Had a stress for data, they don't wanna focus on it. Pay you some of the motivation, captivate my focus. Arch your back, look back at me, get up in there with it. Left cheek, right cheek, slowly bending over. Had a stress for data, they don't wanna focus on it. Meet me by the shop, the eagle drop in 15 minutes. Hit my junkie, he pick up, he like, what up, little nickel? You by the shop, he like, yeah, I'm just in here chillin'. Open the fence, look the garage, I'm about to pull up in it. He check the camera when I land, he meet me outside with it. Park the Porsche by the leg truck right on side the Bentley. Jump in the Honda, I be solo when I handle business. Secret rooms, money counters, metal boxes, blunders. Floor says, buku blickers, quick with drums and switches. Secret compartments, 10 apartments, money to the ceiling. Reefer trailers, tractor trailers, back of 18 wheelers. Decent mechanics and logistics for the trucking business. Immigrant construction workers, new construction business. I just built a house in Texas with a tunnel in it. From the tunnel entrance. You don't speak Spanish, make it clear so you can comprehend it. I could go to Mexico from the tunnel entrance. Little bitty bitch can't hurt my feelings, I got tunnel vision. All the shit I said, big brother probably wanna kill me. He said I talk too reckless in a song, I'm too descriptive. You niggas outdated, still trapping out of runners. I'm a general for real, nigga, get up with me. Damn it, guarantee that every shipment get delivered. That's the old way, we don't put them in the fender. I got the new way and I could get up in there with it. I could get up in there with it. Fuck, I had turned off, man, bitch,
I am reincarnated, I'm a stargazer. Life goes on, I need all my babies. Woke up looking for the broccoli. I can't keep a horn on me, that could my seat. I peep on the shit, the blueprint is by me. Mr. Get Off, I get off at my feet. Nigga couldn't try me in a tri-state. Buddy pass, but I give him splash till he hydrated. I'm south, no he spook town, eyes dilated. I got the money and the power, won't gyrate you. I feel good, get the fuck out my thighs. Look good, but she don't got no ties. I walked in, walked out with a size. Man, don't let me know what the price. What the fuck? I got hits, I got bucks, I got new paper cuts, I got friends, I got foes, but they all sitting ducks. Hit his turf and get cracking, double back like a deluxe. 50 deep, but it ain't deep enough. Fuck a pig, there you go, beat him up. Falling from a money tree, and it grew throughout the month. Spit a loogie at the camera, speed it off, yes, us. I feel good, get the fuck out my thighs. Look good, but she don't got no ties. I walked in, walked out with a size. Man, don't let me know what the price. Squabble up, 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 squabble up. Hold up, hold up, where you from? I'm finna go down, sideways, monster, viva, I'm on one, rocking it. Quid pro quo, what you want, cause I'm watching it. Broke on the floor, let me know if you clocking it. Brody won't go, but I know that he popping it. It was wolf tickets on sale till I silenced it. Pipe down, young, be some hoe with the politics. Bitch with him, and some bitch in him, that's a lot of bitch. Don't hit him, you got kids with him, my apologies. Ghetto child, it was Blackie Mouse with the Smirnoff. He high, we outside, boy, they about to kill him off. Blacks on blacks, it's a fact, there's a breaker off. Tell me why the fuck you niggas rap if it's fictional. Tell me why the fuck you niggas fed if you criminal. Hey, dot, can I get a drop? I'm like, nigga, nah. Boom, boom, from the west side to Senegal. It's a full moon, let the wolves out, I've been a dog. I feel good, get the fuck out my face. Look good, but she don't got no ties. I walked in, walked out with the size. Man, don't let me know what the time. Squabble up, squabble up, squabble up, squabble up, squabble up, squabble up, squabble up.
First day of school on the weekend. I put this shit on a day for no reason. Got something to smile while I fished on my teeth. Straight from the light, call them run, getting geeked up. 1,000 horsepower, my car gotta keep up. Act like I'm slow all the time, but I peep stuff. What kind of guy let a bitch keep the beef up? I let him live for a while, not at least some. Nail and a hammer, I done built it from the ground up. Brody say he working, but the bricks done went down some. They handle the business, I do not go around them. You can get 100 if you want them, we got pound spot. I'm the one that really have emotion, what they talking about? Cars I done did that, chains don't need no more. So many clothes starting to feel like a hobo. Every milestone trying to buy me a new home. I always keep on fucking up the fortress, take the rims out. The way she twitches, sucking like she trying to take the skin out. Rode them in the scracker, but it's new, we swap the fins out. Don't walk up this tree, I make a chopper, knock the limb off. $1,000 after every road, that's what they in for. All I do is fuck her, I done turn into a nympho. Infants, blackout, Gen 5, Gen 4. Tripping for the family, I don't care about my kinfolk. I took the guys to LA for a business meet. I watch my friends, I can handle my enemies. Fuck, I look like having smoke with my mini-me's. Niggas gotta be joking, you kidding me? Y'all real kids. Been small time ballin', now it's real big. I was standing in the bleachers on some cheering shit. Never been a hater, I don't care enough. And she ain't gon' stop until they bury us.
Fresh off the jet, I end up in the project. See something I like, no police on my copy. Don't follow my page, I progress every day for these niggas and bitches that's counting my pockets. Whew. Heard of this bitch in her righteous. Lambo, Ferrari, Bentleys, I got options. I took the private jet out to Nevada. 4 PS Saturday, I smoke like a roster. Churches with me, something seems suspicious, something seeming fishy. I 4 pockets full that look like biscuits. Overpriced us and we uppin'. 4, that sound delicious. You can't use the dishes in the kitchen cooking. Whoop, whoop, leading, can't abort the mission. Bitch, I got additions. Don't do photo pictures, keep it low and with me.
I took the guys to LA for a business meet. I watch my friends, I can handle my enemies. Fuck, I look like having smoke with my mini-me's. Niggas gotta be joking, you kidding me? Y'all real kids. Been small time ballin', now it's real big. I was standing in the bleachers on some cheering shit. Never been a hater, I don't care enough. And she ain't gon' stop until they bury us.
Might put new shoes on my car, might take my factories off, might pull up shoes from the off, might drive and dunk on all y'all. Let the rabbits blend in the traffic, disappearing like magic, no rabbit in the hat shit. This is real life, a shot of blames. Raise your glasses, this my 4th on the night. To the fact we took no casualties when the other side was blasting. Every member of my faculty and cashed in. Everything set on fire in the trash bins. Clear cool like nothing happened. I don't buy nothing too extravagant. Your bitch can't get no minks right now, and you can't cop no new lax or fall asleep before the mission complete. Dog, look at stats. I've been telling fools these movies have a lot of jewelry. Break these lyrics down with a doobie, yours truly. Come to me, guaranteed it's done smoothly. Silver screen, finer things. My whole team, my only dream. Silver screen, finer things. My whole team, my only dream. Silver screen, finer things. My whole team, my only dream.
Whole peas, foreign keys. Say I introduced her to those things. Tatted sleeves, hash brownies and trips overseas. All things accustomed to, cause she know me. OG. When them little dogs bark loud, we low key. Come to my hotel, we bought the whole floor. There's no sweets left. Outspoken, that's a freedom of speech. Just strategize how you get in here. I'll send you the details. Tail number, unlimited seats. Say you got work, hit you end of the week. See what's your energy. Them niggas squares, all four corners, 90 degrees. I'm hard to reach, we hardly speak. I'm lighting trees.
Silver screen, finding things. My whole team, my only dream. Silver screen, finding things. My whole team, my only dream. Might put new shoes on my car. Might take the factories out. Might pull up shoes from the out. Might drive and dunk on all y'all. I seen that whole shit from far. That's why I smoothly walked out. That AMG cold stuff. I drop the top on them, dog. I'm headed to my garage. Pull up the Chevy too hard. Double, that's no rally sport. Gang time on side of the court. This style can never be bought. Timeless will never get caught. Never slipped, way too smart. Saw after, but never saw.
Had a baby, cut bitches off, they was acting hella shady. They want my life, want my nigga, want my savings. The way they acting, I should get a bitch an agent. I just bought a Porsche trust, 3-story house, went and got it on some boy stuff. Just went and sex, and I finna buy some more stuff. I let Chanel, why the fuck they ain't endorse us? But really though, finna leave my nigga, I'm just venting though. Used to switch my niggas like my closet. Many clothes. Shit, honestly, I ain't got the time, I got too many shows and fuck a hoe. We got all these feelings, what a money though. Tell these hoes a break, came back, still ain't bullshit. Got that mommy way, old nigga say ain't sleep. Had to cut him off, hard headed, he ain't listen. Treat him like my son, dump the ass, he be chill, I got questions. Me and my bitches don't trust. Me and my bitches said fuck you. Nigga, I got questions. Me and my bitches don't love you. Me and my bitches said fuck you. Nigga, I got questions. Me and my bitches don't trust you. Me and my bitches said fuck you. Nigga, I got questions. Me and my bitches don't love you. Me and my bitches said fuck you. Nigga, I got questions. Eat the box off the top, is you freaky? Do you tell a block, run your mouth or you sneaky? Is you talking to the lady with the cards trying to read? Do you call me blocked when you block trying to reach me? Tweets in the truck, pick me up, will you meet me? Do you like the fuck on these bitches, are you easy? Can we watch it back when we fuck on the TV? Do you eat it back to back, are you with it? I got questions. Me and my bitches don't trust you. Me and my bitches said fuck you. Nigga, I got questions. Me and my bitches don't love you. Me and my bitches said fuck you. Nigga, I got questions. Me and my bitches don't trust you. Me and my bitches said fuck you. Nigga, I got questions. Me and my bitches don't love you. Me and my bitches said fuck you. Nigga, I got questions.
Yeah, I got what grain on my diamond, yeah, buster. Cool $250,000, my go yard duster. I went to gas, so you still gotta shuffle. Born with this drip and just learn how to hustle. Look at your bitch through these DR by folks. Cause I give me some hands, she been that shit over. They say Lily, I been looking like dollars. Pinstripe hot waters, I dress like a golfer. We riding foreigns, ain't no more imposters. Ain't had no new bone, but I got baby bottles. Shopping at Barney, I drip like a model. Watch how I drip when I hit that McGallon. Codeine, I sit with my luck, don't get splattered. Doctor told me I got lean in my bladder. Run through this cash like family don't matter. I got your best fit the same pen together. Pop out the tag, my palm ain't just swell. Baby blue jet, me my mom feel better. Fuck the snow bunny at my show in Coachella. VVS banding partners in my bezel. We move too fast, they can slime me as ever. Life is too grimy, I watch for the devil. It's a Rolls Royce and they come with umbrellas. 2018 and that punch Corolla. Go your pouch. Racks in a quarter ounce. 2 accounts. Large amounts. Shop around. Designer down. Dribble down.
do drown, yeah. Killing me, homie, you compare me. The Finny runners, I feel athletic. Running shit up by my partner, a paddock. Blowing this cash, it was time we ain't had it. Got 21 bitches, I must be a savage. Cooking in kitchen, it don't smell like acid. Pouring this hot chick, I'm super relaxing. Boxing in LA, gonna fuck in the balance. Take that plastic, put them in their plastic. I'm like, this love quickly pass them a message. Got an addiction in love with this fashion. Praying for all of my bros, I be catching. Last time I had school, you always be catching. Niggas ain't eating, so caffeine fasting. Can't get no sleep, cause my life is all action. See how shit happen, I made it in rapping. Go your pouch. Racks in a quarter ounce. 2 accounts. Large amounts. Shop around. Designer down. Dribble down. Dribble down. Yeah.
Tag a toe. Don't care what the blogs say, I don't do bag and phone. I like to get up with them niggas who be tagging through. Cause once I drop it, you gon' stop me like a big roll. Poke out them shits, let's do your best and know you niggas know. You get at me, you bet I miss, I'm coming grab you some. All that camping in your captions, that you getting know. But I'm not doing the extra, I don't play with you. Nothing all play like Venom, stick up with the pole. He was trying to spin out the window, got his brain glowing. Catching bodies and buying property like St. Rose. Riding through Scotland, ain't nobody know. Big shot like hot niggas to burn it, bro. Cartel, I used to bam it right behind the mall. 3 Yoshi behind the ball, I'm trying to kill the car. It's shit just like Adderall, roll it up on Adderall. And look at the disaster, by after the ladder, all the time my master's on, gotta send my catalog. Line them up like dominoes, I'm pressing till they all fall. You with that nigga, I don't like them, let's fuck all of them. My eyes are like you make the balls, I'm buying till they sold out. I'm like you a pit, I turn the dick and get you dog off. Coming on the bitch, you eat that dick until I nose off. You can send a dick, you make my missions like a road dog. As I pass a nigga like a drive-thru. But see, I don't know fucking down, till I was tired to. Till I hold that on my top of the it's red and pink like Majin Buu. I cut that with you blazing in my hand and made a ride. All the bangs off the true blade, turn up the volume when I ride through in the mix. Like y'all, with the block like a bio. Some shit that I ain't never seen, eight-legged gorilla. All of y'all done heard of me like DG Cormella. Yeah. There's some shit that I ain't never seen, eight-legged gorilla. I know all of y'all done heard of me like DG Cormella. Nothing but the switches, ain't got shit for a nigga. Now I'm shitting on them, I always piss for a G-Wagon with that chain, but a nigga look so neat. Only in talk to the bitch, I get tired of the hoe, but she still be on me. Belly and rap the stick with the hoe right along, man, I'm fuck with the police. Still don't wanna go let me try, but they think they let Texas just stop on my money. I don't give a fuck about the bitch. I'm gonna kill me something. I don't give a fuck about your clip, we gon' sit I took a drill or something. How about that motherfucking lamb, make it carry what it's on. All the little kill what she said, but dig it up out. I don't want tired of the mansion. Talk about brand new house. Kept saying stick that killed your man, and I put it in my grandpa's house. No young boy got a bitch on Zans, I'm clearing out all the house. We take those sticks and we fill up a van. We take those sticks and we taking it out. I first paint my face, bitch stop. Her waiting outside the show come out. Woke up by my sleep, it was 1 a.m. and I poured up mud. I was just watching the clock, I don't even care about what a bitch was. Swear to God, for the little my motherfucking life just like a dog. I took the fight with a chop as soon as I heard it was in the clubs. Bitch doing all that pop and through that hope I get some drug. Knife on my face, I'm a great day. I'm a man and I made niggas. Bring up a hit, no I'm paying something. I already know I ain't playing with you. I'm hitting his face like 100 times. I went to war like 100 times. I went that shit you get put on your dick, I'm walking that bitch with 100 slams.
shank. Thinking about it, seducing a nigga, get hit with a shank. I already knew every time that I do something, they calling the cops. I came back from the day, it was 1 a.m. when I pulled up mud. I was just watching the clock, I ain't giving one fuck about what a bitch was. I swear to God, forever, I'm living my motherfucking life like a thug. I took the fire with a cutter, soon as I heard it was inside the club. Nico can't trap one-on-one, bitch that nigga, hell your gang. Got with a switch, you get hit with a dub. I already know I'ma keep me one. I already know that I'm gone off drugs. I was just waiting on a bitch to come. Cool that nigga hitting the club. Caught from the story, it gotta be done. Line that bitch, I'ma get the whole drug. Can't get spit, don't tell me nothing, bitch. I don't wanna leave, but they stay on my dick. Whoever we catch them like this, we killing that boy. We kill him. 12 tied down, nigga, build that shit. That nigga so reckless that I'm the most thin and baby geek. I don't even care what she say. I don't want tired of the mess. Talk about brand new house. Kept saying stick that killed your man, and I put it in my grandpa's house. No young boy got a bitch.
behind me. Huh? Wow. Hey, Mike G. Say nephew, put one in the air for me one time. That's that backyard boogie right there, God. Yes, sir. It's not the same. That's me creeping in there, running with that beef out. I look like a peeping Tom, I got this dick out. Bitch, you got me bitten on 5%, we knock your 10 out. T-shirt sticking to his wound, he up in.
Luna. Hello. Hey. I am. Gotcha. I'll be right down.
just left.
Probably another day, just because the landlord probably another day because there have been a lot of people here today.
another.
Should be. One window.
Fuck, other single.
He's right behind me, isn't he? Speed.
Window in heaven. Nice one, window. Mini.
Fuck.
Last one was window. Oh yeah, nice close.
Oh, you were him.
Coming.
2 garage. Damn.
One flanking. Upstairs flanking. I don't know what it's
Upstairs,
called.
brother. Good job.
Secret. Let's go secret.
Pop.
Go, go, go.
Heaven dead.
Oh my fuck.
Where was he?
Ramp. He's outside.
Terrorists win.
Nothing garage.
One's garage.
These 4.
One ramp. Last guy was ramp, I'm pretty sure. Nice.
Close.
Good sight, we have a.
Oh my god.
One normally plays ramp.
Fuck.
Good call.
Last guy unknown.
Ramp. Oh, left.
Wait, should I have an op right now?
Yes, we're a family.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
We're a fucking family.
My
You just
bad.
slapped us in the face.
Red.
Pushing, go on, pushing. Be careful. Down.
One ramp.
Oh.
Last guy was ramp.
Get secret.
Always had them. Jeez. Nice. I love you guys.
Can you hear me?
I'm going heaven.
Is my mic working again? I'm gonna take that as a no.
One, bottom of ladder heaven. Yeah, okay.
Hello.
Yeah, I like insta. I've killed him once.
Can you hear me now? Is this mic still not working? Fuck.
Somewhere outside, pushing outside fast.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Could you not before?
I'm not sure.
Fuck.
Nice recovery.
Fuck. Well.
Somewhere outside.
I want
Fuck. I have a stupid complicated audio setup.
One outside. You heard him, lobby.
Is one more marshmallow?
I think it was dropped. Watch the outside push.
Yeah, they think they're slick.